with Sheriff McGovern being here as long as he did, and I just loved working for him, it never even really dawned on me, but once I realized that his term was going to end before I retired, I loved what he was doing and a lot of the things, but I also saw that there was a way that I could move the agency more into the future, but also bring that leadership that would hold the department together. I'm a PTSD survivor. It was called cumulative stress disorder, and I sought treatment in 2017. When I came out of treatment, I realized that I needed to change what I was doing, but I also knew I still had so much to offer in the ways of leadership. So I wanted to stay in law enforcement and become the change that we need, while maybe moving away from the things that I had been doing for the past 20 some odd years. Fortune would have it that Sheriff McGovern actually spoke with me at about that same time about running for sheriff, and it just kind of all fell into place, became kind of fortuitous. Well, I think my overall vision, it sounds a bit like a cop-out, but it's I'm so deeply proud of how we've operated for so many years. We have always been kind of seen as the more communicative, forward agency, where we I don't want to say kinder and gentler, but we are known in the community and in all facets of the community as the people who tend to want to work with people, as opposed to just coming in and showing people what it is that they are, telling them what they need to be doing. But I also feel like my vision for that is to not only utilize our already good standing and abilities to communicate, but pivot that into the future of policing to where we can have a more culturally diverse agency that represents our community. I want the answers. I don't have the answers. How do we get people of color? How do we get people of marginalized groups and intersectional groups to come and feel safe to become a part of the change? And I just really want to concentrate on turning our agency into what our community actually looks like and deserves. The two things I would change, I suppose, the easy answer there is I would add a citizens review board, and it's going to have the teeth to actually make decisions and look at low-level use of force as well as citizen complaints. I think that's going to just create a wealth of transparency, as well as our ability to utilize them for best practices. Maybe let them look at situations that happen that are within our policy, but maybe we just need to look and make sure that that's what the community expects of us. The other thing that I would change is I would look more into, not to say that our current administration hasn't done it, but I would look more into how will we utilize our influence to make sure that these other systems that are in place to decrease our jail population are being utilized at their full capacity, but also try to utilize our influence to get to Topeka and maybe change some minimum charge or some minimum sentencings and try to get us another district court judge to help with the workload of the court system. Two things I would keep, obviously, is our reentry program, which is nationally renowned, and it's doing just the most amazing work. And the forethought of Sheriff McGovern to see the need and to build this program was unbelievable. But with our jail population booming at the time that it was, we were sending our very best inmates out, and none of them were able to utilize these great programs we have. So it all kind of ties back to jail population, but our reentry is just so fantastic, and I want to make sure that it's getting utilized in every corner. The other thing that I would keep is I'm just so proud of the culture that the Sheriff's Office has garnered over the years. We are just so communication oriented. I don't want to say again, kinder and gentler. We are still law enforcement, but we've created a dialogue and a respect with the community that it is easily taken away, and it's taken us generations to build up. And I want to make sure that we keep that intact. Obviously, a very good question and very pointed these days. So the understanding needs to be had that the sheriff's office is basically broken in two, and we have our operations division and our corrections division. So our operations is like the courthouse security, our warrants division, but also we have our road patrol, so those are the deputies that are out on the road that are maybe pulling people over for DWIs or working wrecks. But we also have our investigations division, which is our detectives who are, they work. Our agency is so unique in that we work everything all the way from forgeries and non-person felonies all the way up to homicides. And I spent 7 years in there, so I know this. So we do have an enforcement arm, but we also have our correction side. And so again, our correction side is bound by the courts as to who comes, how long they stay, and when they leave, and where they go when they leave. We have little to no say in that. So if it's a racial disparity in the jail population, where we would come into play is that if we are able to identify that there is a problem or there is a system that is being utilized or is unfair, it would be on us to go to whomever this system is under and say, this is not working. We all need to look at this. But on the enforcement side, we're trying to do a police contact study like that Lawrence did a while back. The numbers should be in before long. So if it is an enforcement issue, then that's where we'll step in and be like, okay, no more of this. We're getting trained up. We're going to learn how to do this right. The one thing is that they need to see that they're supported from the top. Obviously, I maybe have some ideas about enforcement that not all deputies are going to agree with, because we have a wide slice of humanity working for us, not wide enough, but and some law enforcement officers believe that bad guys belong in jail, whereas others believe that they belong in rehab. But what we do know is that no matter where you fit on that spectrum, is that we all want to do what's right for the victims. We all want to do what's right for the innocent. We all want to do what's right for our community. Sometimes we disagree on how it should be done. What I do expect is that I expect to be transparent with the employees to let them know exactly what I expect of them. We hold ourselves to a very high standard, and I will hold them to a very higher standard as well. But what I do know is that we have such a good culture within our agency that they're not going to. We hold each other so accountable, and I know I sound like a police apologist, and I'm really not, but I really feel like if people were able to come in and look at our agency versus some other agencies, not just in the area but nationally, I think you would see an entirely different culture as to how we operate, and it really is a community first style, and I'm just so proud of it. And so, but ultimately, to answer the question is, they need to know that I'm proud of them. They need to know that I support them. But and I do. There's no other job in this world that, except maybe military, that you have to be prepared to hug or fight somebody in a split second. And I can't overstate it enough of how special of a human being it takes to do that well. And for me, it's identifying those humans and getting them on my team.